Hey guys, Mike here, and welcome back to Mike Gets Healthy. This is week 3 of the 30-day weigh-in loss challenge, and this week was a little different. The scale did move, but it didn't move like it did in the beginning. And I'll be honest with you, even though I know I've lost weight, when I look in the mirror this morning, I didn't really see it. I don't see any change. My shirts don't feel dramatically different. Uh, my reflection looks pretty much the same. And if I didn't have the scale to prove it, I'm not sure I would believe much has changed really. So if you're on your own health or weight loss journey and you're hitting the same mental wall where the scale says one thing, but the mirror says, nope, nothing here to see, don't panic. Today, I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how I'm feeling after 3 weeks, what's been working, what's been harder than expected, and why some of the most important progress may be happening where we can't see it yet. And at the end of the video, I'll step on the scale and reveal my official week 3 weigh in. If you're new here, this channel is about my personal journey to take back my health over the age of 60. No BS, no fitness influencer gimmicks, no six pack abs standing in front of a rented Lamborghini telling you how easy it is. Just a regular guy, 62 years old, trying to lose weight, get healthier, get stronger, and hopefully stick around a lot longer to enjoy this life as long as possible. 3 weeks ago, I started this journey right at around 301 pounds. And that's not a comfortable number to say out loud for sure, but that's the point of this channel. I'm putting it out there for accountability. If I didn't, I know it wouldn't last. So hopefully it helps somebody else who is in the same spot. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just sharing what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and what's happening along the way. And this week, I learned something important. The exciting part is easy. The real test starts when the scale slows down. For the first 30-day block, I'm keeping the plan pretty simple. I'm doing a basic calorie deficit. I didn't start with keto or carnivore. I didn't cut out every carb. I didn't do anything extreme. Although with what I've been eating, there has been a carb deficit to some degree compared to normal. I just started eating less, paying attention, and making better choices. And honestly, one of the biggest changes has been snacks. Before I started this, if I wanted something sweet or something quick, I was way too easy to grab chips, candy, cookies, or whatever was convenient. And let's be honest, those things add up fast. So one of the swaps I made was fruit, which is got something that I just didn't eat much of. Now, when I want something sweet, I can grab an apple or a handful of cherries, something that gives me that sweetness without turning into a complete calorie disaster. It's not magic. It's not some secret diet hack. It's just a better choice than what I was doing before. That's really what these first 3 weeks have really been all about. Not perfection, just better choices more often than bad choices. And I think that's important because sometimes we make weight loss too complicated before we even start. We think we need the perfect diet, the perfect workout plan, the perfect apps on our phone, the perfect supplements, the perfect meal prep containers, the perfect everything. And then we get overwhelmed and do nothing. For me, the first phase has been about proving to myself that I can follow a basic plan, eat less, make better choices, track what I'm doing, pay attention, and just don't quit. That's it. Now, week 3 has been a reality check to some degree, I guess, because the first week or two, you usually get more excitement. You start something new, you're motivated, you're more focused, you're drinking more water, you're probably eating less junk, and the scale may reward you pretty quickly. But then things start to settle down, and that's where your brain starts messing with you. You start thinking, is this still working? Am I doing something wrong? Should I change diet? Should I eat less? Should I do something more extreme? And I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble because instead of trusting the plan, they start chasing the excitement. And before long, you're not really following the plan. You're just reacting emotionally to the scale. I'm trying not to do that. This week was a smaller loss, but smaller doesn't mean failure. Actually, if I'm being honest, this may be the kind of week I need to learn how to respect the plan. Because if I can only stay motivated when I get huge numbers on the scale, I'm in trouble. The real journey is learning how to keep going when the result is normal. And that's what this week was, I guess, pretty much just normal progress. Now let's talk about the part that messes with your head. Why can you lose weight and still look the same? Because that's exactly how I felt this week. I know the scale is moving, but when I look in the mirror, I don't see some huge transformation, and that can be pretty frustrating. One example I heard that really made sense is my cheap prop, the paper towel effect. Think of your body like a brand new roll of paper towels. When the roll's full and you tear off the first couple of pieces, it doesn't really look any different. It looks the same. The roll is still big, it still looks full, and don't really notice much of a change. But as the roll gets smaller and smaller, each sheet that you tear off becomes more noticeable. That's kind of how weight loss. When you're starting at a higher weight, the first pounds may not show dramatically in the mirror. Yeah, you may be losing a little from different places, your face, your neck, your stomach, your back, legs. But because it's so spread out, it doesn't always jump out at you right away. And there's another problem. You see yourself every day. You look in the mirror every morning. You see tiny changes, if any, day by day, and your brain gets so used to what it sees, it tricks you into believing there's nothing different. So when changes are happening, you may not notice them at all. That's why pictures, measurements, and tracking can be helpful because the mirror is emotional, right? The scale is data. Your pictures are data. Measurements are data. How your clothes fit is data. Your energy level is data. All this data tells you one thing, where the mirror may be telling you something else. And if we only judge progress by what we think we see in the mirror on a random morning, we may be missing what's actually happening. Because also today, for example, I put on a pair of jeans and I had to take them off, not because they were too tight, because they felt too loose. I couldn't, I was pretty surprised, pretty shocked. I put on another pair that were pretty tight before, and I sucked my gut in to get ready to button them up. And to my shock, there was no need to suck it in anymore. They actually fit perfect. I also noticed my watch today. It had always been pretty snug on my wrist, and now it's, I mean, you can see it, it's flopping around pretty good on there. So there's definitely change. The point is, if the scale is telling you that you've lost weight, you will start to notice change, even if you can't see them in the mirror at first. Now, this part is especially important for me because I did not start this channel just because I wanted to look better in a shirt. Would I like that? Absolutely, sure. But the real reason I started this is because my health got my attention. I've talked before about going through AFib, and I've had some scary moments with my heart, and that was a major wake up call. When something like that happens, you start thinking different. You start realizing this is not just about a number on the scale. It's about whether I'm going to be around any longer and whether I'm going to have energy, be able to do things with my family, and whether I'm going to keep ignoring the warning signs or finally do something about it. So even if I don't see a huge difference in the mirror yet, I have to remind myself that some of the most important changes may be happening on the inside. Less weight on my body means less pressure on my joints. Better eating may help my blood pressure. Moving in the right direction may help my overall health. And losing fat around the midsection, especially visceral fat around your internal organs, is a big deal for long term health. When you lose your first 15 pounds, your body doesn't burn the jiggly fat under your skin first, it goes after visceral fat. And that's the toxic fat suffocating your internal organs, including your liver, your kidneys, and your heart. So my t shirt may not fit any looser today, but by dropping 15 pounds, I've taken an immense amount of pressure off my cardiovascular system for sure. My heart doesn't have to pump as hard. My blood pressure's thanking me, I'm sure. This invisible weight loss is literally giving me my life back. If you're working out and eating right, but the mirror isn't changing. Remember, your body is healing from the inside out first. And for someone like me at 62 years old, that matters. This journey is not about looking different, it's about living different, really. So let's see, what has been easier than expected so far? Honestly, having a simple plan has helped. I think when I don't have a plan, that's when I get into trouble. If I wait until I'm starving to figure out what I want to eat, I'm probably going to make some bad choices. If I don't have anything decent in the house, I'm probably going to grab something quick. And I mean, honestly, quick usually means higher calories, bigger portions, and something that doesn't move me towards my goal. So for me, the simple things are helping. I just have to be better than I was. That's been a big mindset shift, I think, because in the past, I think I had an all or nothing mentality. And I mean, you're going to have days where you're hungry, have cravings or stress, busy days, and times when the plan doesn't go perfectly. I also up my water game, kind of. uh, Water gets boring to me, so I started filling my glass 2/3 of the way up with water, and then I add a splash of it's Minute Maid, either the mango or pink lemonade. It's a no sugar product. Here's a photo. I mean, and I only put a splash in there because the stuff tastes so sweet to me at full strength that I don't really enjoy it. And here's a look at the back label, and basically no calories. So I know that's got some artificial stuff in there, but still, it helps me with the water consumption. Now, what's been harder than expected? The mental side. The food part is hard, but the mental side may be harder because when you have a lot of weight to lose, it's easy to look too far ahead. I can look at my final goal of 200 pounds and think, man, this is a long way away. And if I focus too much on that, I can feel pretty overwhelmed. So I'm trying to break it down just to hit my first goal, 275, not 200, just the 275 number for this section of this whole journey, I guess. Then after that, I'll focus on the next goal, which is 250. Because if the only goal is the finish line, I mean, you can feel like you're failing every single day until you get there, and that's not going to do you any good. And that's what I'm trying to do. Stack enough of those together, and eventually it turns into real changes. Now, we're not stopping there. The first 3 weeks have mostly been about fixing my nutrition, but the next step is movement. The home gym is done, which I know I've mentioned. I did run into a snag this week and had to completely rebuild a treadmill. I bought it used, it needed a little work. And anyway, it's all fixed now. I got that finished on Thursday night and started yesterday. So I know. I said that last week that I was going to hit the gym for the whole week, but it is what it is. It's up and done now. I do have this day 2 already in the books on the workout. So I also bought a new smart scale that tracks things like body fat, muscle mass, water weight, and visceral fat. Now, I don't know yet how accurate all of it is, so I'm going to test it out here for a little bit longer, and then I'll give you an honest review in an upcoming video on that. Because I think a lot of us want more information than just body weight, especially when the mirror isn't showing us really any progress yet. So the scale can be pretty interesting. You do have to put in a lot of measurements, and I've got most of that already entered and have started using it. Before I reveal this week's number, I want to ask you something. If you're on your own health or weight loss journey, what messes with your head the most? Is it the scale slowing down? I mean, it kind of did mess with me a little bit when I thought back about it this week. Is it not seeing changes in the mirror? Is is it cravings, staying consistent on weekends? Weekends are hard for me because I do like to go out and eat once or twice over the weekend, but let me know. Drop a comment below and let me know where you are in your own journey because I really do want this channel to be more than just me stepping on a scale. I want it to be a place where regular people can compare notes, encourage each other, and figure this all out together. All right, let's get to the week 3 weigh in. 3 weeks ago, I started right around 301, just under 301. Last week, I was 288.8. This week, I knew the number wasn't going to be as dramatic, but progress is progress. So let's see where I ended up. This week, I weighed in at 286.2. So that means I lost another 2.5 pounds. And from the start of the journey, that puts me down right about 15 pounds in roughly 21 days. Now, part of me wants a bigger number this week. I'm just being honest, but the more I think about it, the more I realize this is exactly the kind of week I need to learn how to handle because the journey's not going to be one giant drop after another. And I'm wishful for that, but we know that's not really reality. So some weeks will be big, some will be small, and some weeks may not move at all. Heck, they may even go up a little bit. But if I stay consistent, keep making better choices, keep moving in the right direction, I mean, that's how this becomes real. So I'm calling this week a win. 2 pounds down, 15 pounds total, and 1 week left in this first 30-day calorie deficit challenge. So if you're following along, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your own win for the week. It doesn't have to be a huge win. Maybe you walked, skipped on some snacks, drank more water, whatever it is. Maybe you got back on track after a bad day. Whatever it is, put it down in the comments. Thanks for watching Mike Gets Healthy. Keep pulling those sheets off that paper roll one sheet at a time. Trust the process, protect your health, and let's get healthier together. I'll see you next week for the final week 4. That's it. So next week will be a wrap up of this whole 30-day challenge. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for watching.